Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of the Kwanlun Dun First Nations in the Tonka-Chan Council, and I'm very grateful to be able to explore and connect with these beautiful lands. Today's a very special day. Today I'm going to give my first impressions and review on the Armstrong APF 1880. Now this is the new pump foil that Armstrong has come out with, and it's supposed to be an improvement on the HA 1525 series, and I'm hoping to try to extend my pipe pumping to as long as I possibly can. With the HA 1525 I'm able to get up to around a minute. I haven't broken that minute mark, but I'm hoping that with the APF 1880 I'm going to be able to do so. But today we're first going to be able to just want to give you a look at this thing. It's massive. It's huge. It's got 1,880 square centimeters of surface area. It's got a massive camber, high camber. The convex shape is pretty pronounced. The profile is a lot wider than the HA series, and so you're not going to get quite the speed that you will with an HA, but what this high camber is going to do is it's going to give you a low stall speed. It's going to give you tons of lift, and I'm pairing that up with the 202 pump as well. So hopefully with that combination we're really going to be able to pump for, I don't know, let's see, the sky's the limit. Today we're just going to test it out. Maybe if we're feeling good we're going to go for like a minute and a half and crush my personal best. We'll see how things go, but it's very impressive looking. It's 1 meter 30 centimeters wide. And it looks super sleek. All right, without further ado, let's try this out. So one thing I immediately realized once I put the foil into the water and started walking is the amount of lift that I'm getting just from walking. With the HA, I'm always having to remind myself to accelerate my launch because you need speed with the HA 1525. With this, you could probably just walk and jump onto this board. Well, let's see. I mean, I was walking pretty slow right there, and the wing is flying. With the profile of this wing, it really wants to lift, and it's got amazing low stall speed. All right, let's change that camera angle so it works a little bit better so you can see my launch. I'll demonstrate again how slow I'm walking and the foil is flying. So I'm just gonna walk my 3 steps and jump on. I'm not gonna be focusing on running really fast. I'm gonna just do a very casual walk and jump onto this board. Wow, that was really cool. I jumped on and it felt so stable. If you look at the website, the Armstrong website, it says if you're under 90 kilograms, this foil is for experts. I don't know if I'm an expert. I really consider myself more intermediate advanced, but this wing is so, it felt so stable and forgiving. And even as I was turning, my speed was really slow and I almost came to a standstill, and yet I was still able to pump my way out of that turn. Amazing. Let's do it again. Let's I'm gonna jump on and I'm gonna try turning the other way and route back. I just want to make sure that all right, that's good. One other thing to note, I moved the mast back to number 3.5 on the track. With my HA, I have it almost all the way to 8. But because this wing is so big and because of the design profile of it and the qualities of it, characteristics, I figured at setting number 8 it would give way too much lift, and I'm right. Like at 3.5 it's providing plenty of lift. Okay, yeah, so getting out was fine. It's great, man. You just land on it. I'm not even going fast and there's just so much lift. That low stall speed is amazing. I guess you could see it. There is a whisper of wind and it's blowing the water in this direction, so you could really feel the subtle changes in the water. So when I felt like when I was making that turn and going into sort of the wind that I might have to adjust my foot positioning a little bit, or pitch my body weight a little bit further forward. But I guess the consensus is that it's such a big wing that you're gonna really have to be able to control the slight nuances of little wakes or tiny little undulations in the water. Yeah, that was bound to happen. I was bound to wipe out at some point, and you just saw it right there. I just have to find that balance. Wow, there's so much lift. I could see why on the website, Armstrong website, they recommend the 1675 for people under 90 kilograms, which is about 200 pounds. I'm 75 kilograms, about 165 pounds. And yeah, I could feel it. Like if you pump too hard and your balance isn't right, it feels like it's gonna just buck you off. Feels like it's just gonna shoot you off. That's how much lift and response that you're getting from this big wing. I'm gonna try going out and pumping and trying to work on getting that speed up, just to get my thoughts on the speed. I don't think it's gonna be nearly as fast as the HA. I can tell right now it's not as fast as the HA, but I'm starting to get my bearings with this wing now. I'm gonna try to push it a little bit, get a little bit more speed, and see how it turns. Not going to be as fast as the HA 1525, but feels like it's a little bit quicker than the HS 1850 that I started out on pump foiling on. And in terms of turning, definitely the HS 1850 is going to turn better, but this isn't bad. I think with speed, depending on if you're going on completely flat water or if you're going into a bit of a current, because you can see that the current is moving this way. I mean, it all depends on the water conditions. But you know what? Let's do another run. I'm gonna try doing a couple turns, one at speed and one going slow, and see how well it turns. Okay, you can see I turned pretty tight. That was a pretty tight turn. And I was going heel side. I did have to lean a little bit, and I was going pretty fast, but really a good turning radius for a wing that's 1.30 meters. That's massive. So the design profile, it has a straight edge, so it doesn't have a lot of curve to it. It's pretty much straight across, a little bit of a tiny curve, and then on the end it has these tiny little winglets, which I think helps it track. But I mean, if you lean, you can get pretty tight turns on this. I'm gonna try getting up to speed and doing a toe side turn and seeing how tight I can get. Okay, so the toe side turn, I wasn't able to get that time around. It also has probably something to do with the water conditions right now, because you can see that there is a bit of a push this way. Typically the toe side turn, it's harder to make as tight of a turn anyways, but I think it's bolstered by the fact that the water is pushing this way. Even when I'm on top of my board paddling back, you could feel that little bit of water, the water pushing in this direction. That just goes to show how influenced you're going to be out on the water because the wing is so big, especially if you're out on choppy water or what have you. Unless you're a pretty big guy or gal, or you've got a really high skill set, it might get tricky just because you're going to be influenced and pushed around by the water conditions. And that might be why Armstrong recommends, if you're a beginner or intermediate starting at the 1675, I think if you want to really break records and in terms of distance and longevity with pumping, I think you need to go with a bigger wing. But of course you have to keep in mind the water conditions. If it's completely flat, absolutely go with a bigger wing. If it's got some waves and a little bit of chop, the 1675 might be the way to go. I haven't personally used the 1675, but just being out on the water with this wing and my experience with the HA 1525, I think yeah, depending on the water conditions, you really have to select your wing appropriately. All right, so what I'm going to do again is I'm going to just try to do another toe side turn and come back in. Oh wow, so that might have been a combination of me just getting acclimatized to that wing. But yeah, I was really able to easily make that turn in a pretty tight radius. What I also did find was the water's coming in this way. When I'm going against the current, wow, so much lift, so easy on this wing. I'm putting almost no effort into it and just doing light little taps, and it is just, it's going. Now when you're going with the wave and the current, obviously you got to increase the speed a little bit, but going against the current, wow, it's effortless. I definitely think that I'm gonna break some of my own personal records, my personal bests with this wing, and I'm gonna do one more little test. I'm gonna go out and then I'm gonna try to generate as much speed as I possibly can and do a little glide, just see how well it glides. Really nice glide. I know I glided past camera and I got to a pretty low stall speed and I started pumping. I was almost able to get back up. I think it has more to do with my technique than with the foil, but it's still early days for me. I'm probably gonna get better and better so that I can really slow this wing down and then begin pumping and get back up on foil. I think it has more to do with my technique than the wing, but man, this wing, you can see it glides. And also that gliding ability comes with technique and getting really familiar with this wing. So it's still early days for me. So the fact that I wasn't able to glide more is probably down to me. Let's try one step launch. Wow. So if anything, that just demonstrated how much lift you get on this. I landed and instead of sinking, I was going really slow. It just bucked me off because I didn't have my weight forward enough. But there's plenty of lift that you could just launch without even taking 3 steps. You could just kind of push and jump onto it. All right, let's try that again. Okay, definitely doable. You can see how slow I was going. That just gives you an idea of the stall speed. It's got a low stall speed. And I think it came, again, down to my technique. I wasn't able to get my pumps going. We're gonna try it again, and we're gonna nail it this time. Fingers crossed. Look at that. So that kind of demonstrates to you the low end stall speed of this wing. Turns well, tons of lift. I'm also going to try to break my personal best in this session. Give me a second. I'm gonna load the GoPro onto my helmet and then we'll go for a spin and we'll shoot for about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I've never actually personally gone over the minute mark. Even when I crossed Cat Lake in Squamish, I think it was just under a minute. So we're gonna shoot for, I don't know, a minute, 10 seconds. I'm gonna have to catch my breath, psych myself up, and then we'll go for it. All right, we're back. So we're gonna go and try to break my personal best with this new Armstrong APF 1880 wing. My personal best is just under a minute of foiling. Let's see if we can make this illustrious 1 minute club. So what I'm gonna do, I don't have a watch on me or anything like that, so I'm gonna just give myself a target. I try to pump out to, there's some logs that are sticking out there in the distance, and then once I hit those logs, I'm going to turn back and we'll see if that comes out to over a minute. So we're at about a minute right now, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Whew. All right, so I just checked back the footage and a minute and 10 seconds. It's amazing. I didn't have a watch on me, didn't have any cues. Maybe subconsciously my brain was saying, that's a minute and 10 seconds, we hit our goal, we're gonna crash. And so we have a new personal best. First day out with this beast, the APF 1880, and I was able to break the 1 minute mark and join the illustrious club of pumping for 1 minute, over 1 minute. And some closing remarks. I think it's a fantastic wing. I don't know if it's made for everybody in terms of, if you're a beginner, I think it's probably meant for somebody who's a little bit more advanced. If you're a beginner and you're under 90 kilograms, you probably want to start out with the 1675 APF. But if you want to advance and you're a little bit more skilled, then yeah, I think it's possible to break more records. On a calm day, I'm going to come out again and I'm going to go for 2 minutes. We're going to try to shoot for 2 minutes. But it turns well, it glides well. As you saw, I did a rock launch pretty much. I launched without even running. So that makes it possible to launch off of a rock. You don't need a dock. And I think it makes it a lot easier to do a beach start as well, because you don't need as much speed. Fantastic wing. Go out and get yourself an Armstrong APF 1880. We'll see you out on the water. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for all my upcoming videos. See you on the next one.